The farewell of Moya Brennan, one of the most influential voices in Irish music history, marked a deeply emotional moment for fans, fellow musicians, and cultural communities across the world. Known globally as the lead singer of Clannad and as a solo artist, she built a legacy that blended traditional Irish heritage with modern musical expression in a way that very few artists have ever achieved. When news of her passing and funeral arrangements began circulating, it immediately drew attention far beyond Ireland. For many people, this was not just the loss of a singer, but the closing of a significant chapter in Celtic music history. Her voice had become a symbol of emotional depth, spirituality, and cultural identity. The funeral was arranged in a respectful and private manner, attended primarily by close family members, friends, and select individuals from the music industry. Those who were present described the environment as quiet, reflective, and centered entirely on remembrance rather than public attention or media presence. There were no large public events, no commercial focus, and no attempt to turn the ceremony into a public spectacle. Instead, the emphasis remained on honoring her life and the personal memories shared by those closest to her. Moya Brennan's influence in music cannot be described in simple terms. She was not just a singer. She was a voice that carried emotion in its purest form. Through Clannad, she helped introduce Irish-language music and Celtic-inspired sound to global audiences who had never experienced it before. Her work became widely recognized for its atmospheric tone, emotional clarity, and spiritual undertones. Songs performed by her often felt less like entertainment and more like emotional experiences, which is why her audience connected with her on such a deep level. During the funeral, attendees reflected on both her personal and professional life. Many spoke about her humility and her quiet nature off stage. Despite international recognition, she was often described as grounded, private, and deeply connected to her cultural roots. Colleagues from the music industry highlighted her discipline and consistency as an artist. She was known for treating music not just as performance, but as expression, something that carried meaning beyond the stage. As discussions about her funeral spread online, fans from around the world began sharing tributes, memories, and emotional messages. Social media platforms were filled with clips of her performances, interviews, and live concerts that had left a lasting impact on listeners. Many people described how her voice had been part of their lives for years, sometimes even decades. For some, her music was associated with personal memories, emotional healing, and cultural connection. As part of broader discussions, some informal reports and conversations suggested that a viewing may have included an open casket arrangement. However, this detail has not been officially confirmed and remains part of unverified public discussion rather than documented fact. The focus of the family and organizers remained on privacy and respect throughout the entire process. Regardless of such discussions, the overall tone of the funeral remained consistent, dignified, private, and centered on remembrance. There was no emphasis on public display and no attempt to bring attention beyond those who were personally connected to her life. The emotional impact of her passing was strongly felt within the Irish music community. Artists, collaborators, and fellow performers expressed their condolences and reflected on her role in shaping the identity of modern Celtic music. Many described her as a pioneer who helped bring Irish musical traditions into international awareness without losing their authenticity. Her voice became a bridge between traditional heritage and contemporary music styles. Her contribution to Clannad also remained a major point of reflection. The group's success introduced global audiences to a completely new sound, combining folk traditions with modern arrangements. This influence continues to be recognized in music history. At the funeral, individuals who spoke about her life emphasized not only her professional achievements but also her personal character. She was described as someone who valued simplicity, faith, and family above public attention. Despite her global fame, she maintained a lifestyle that remained relatively private compared to many public figures. This balance between fame and personal privacy became a defining part of her identity. In the days following the funeral, public interest continued through online tributes and revisits to her musical work. Fans shared how her songs remained relevant across generations, continuing to inspire both older and younger audiences. Streaming platforms saw renewed attention to her catalog, particularly her most iconic performances with Clannad. Many listeners described rediscovering emotional depth in her music after learning about her passing. Even as discussions about funeral details appeared online, the dominant response remained focused on appreciation rather than speculation. Most audiences chose to reflect on her legacy rather than specific ceremonial elements. This shift in focus highlighted an important aspect of how artists are remembered. While funerals mark the end of a physical life, the emotional and cultural impact of an artist continues through their work. Moya Brennan's legacy is strongly tied to the preservation and global recognition of Irish music. Her voice helped introduce cultural traditions to audiences who may never have encountered them otherwise. Over time, her music became part of a larger cultural archive, representing not only artistic achievement but also national identity and emotional storytelling. Even after her passing, her influence continues through recordings, performances, and ongoing appreciation from fans and musicians. New generations continue to discover her work and connect with its emotional resonance. While informal discussions may mention various details about her funeral, including suggestions about viewing arrangements, the confirmed information remains centered on a private and respectful ceremony organized by her family. What remains most important is the way her life is remembered, not through specific ceremonial details, but through the emotional and cultural legacy she left behind. Her contribution to music is not limited to a single era or generation. Instead, it continues to evolve as new audiences discover her voice and reinterpret her songs in their own emotional and cultural contexts. In many ways, Moya Brennan's story reflects the lasting power of music itself. While life comes to an end, artistic expression continues to exist beyond time, reaching people in different moments and in different ways. Her funeral may have marked a moment of farewell, but her influence remains active and ongoing. And that is why her name continues to be spoken, her music continues to be played, and her legacy continues to grow. Because in the end, true artistic impact is not measured by the moment of goodbye, but by the life that continues through the work left behind.